Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone on this community's webcast call. My name is Mark O'Brien. I'm will be your MC for this discussion today, and we have, as often we do with these kinds of events, we're going to ask you some poll questions, to kind of start things off, and then I'll introduce a couple of the people who are going to be on the call. And so to kind of set the table here, I've got a question for you. I want to know which versions of Plex and or 2E that you're currently running. And so you'll see a question come up, and then you'll have about 30 seconds or so to answer that question, and then we'll share the results with the audience to kind of get a flavor of where people are at. So 871, you may not be aware of, is actually a release as of Friday, July 3rd. And if you're a Plex user, just click not using 2E. Allow a few more seconds. There we go. So the bulk are actually, well, almost half our callers are Plex people. But anyway, amongst the 2E users, it's pretty solid on 8.7. Interesting that several have already migrated up to or upgraded to 8.7.1, and then 12% are on 8. And actually 6% are on an older version. So thank you very much for that. Next question will be for the Plex users. Which edition of Plex are you on? 7.2.1, 7.2, 7X, 3.7, and then the 2E people. I know there's some of you that have both. About 10% of the audience has both Plex and 2E. So third of you are basically on 7.2.1, and the number on 7.2 and 7.1 is 23%. So a number of you have not upgraded to the latest version of Plex. So it's interesting. So get right to the topic today, which is basically to talk about our next languages generated. Yeah, I'm sorry. So on 2E, we've got RPG, COBOL, DDS, SQL, or a web option or web services. And this is a this isn't just a one answer. You can check off as many languages as you're actually using. So RPG, DDS, very popular. SQL, rather popular. About 1 in 5 of you have gone to a form of web service. And then COBOL bringing up the rear, but 60 years old and still going reasonably strong. And then for Plex users, similar question. So C++, the native language Plex was written in, or RPG, or HTML, JavaScript, Java, or C#.net. So a number of you, majority, have stayed with native. And obviously, there's you have multiple combinations there too. And Java also very popular option, and RPG. So I want to thank everybody for participating in that. Really, it helps us with your people. And at this point, I wanted to talk about the next conferences coming up. Actually the 11th, but it's going to be emphasizing mid-range. You see a picture of Roger Griffith, who is our new user group president, and he'll be talking to you shortly. And we're going to run this on Thursday and Friday, October 22nd and 23rd. We will be in Austin, but it's going to be a virtual conference, and I'll be back to talk about sponsorship and so forth for this well too. And we want to run by the 3 tracks and a conference team. I'm in there in the middle, and then on my right is Summer, and then we'll introduce you to Roger. So Summer, would you say a couple of words as event coordinator?
Good morning, guys. My name is Summer Proch, and I am new to the team. I'll be working with Roger Griffith, and I look forward to working with you guys too.
Great. Thank you, Summer. And now I'd like to introduce Roger Griffith, who's our latest user group president, worldwide community. Roger's been in the business for a long time, started off on 2E and has been an unabashed Plex enthusiast for the last 20 odd years. And anyway, I'd like all us to please give a warm community welcome to Roger and introduce him to the conference team. And take it away, Mr. Griffith.
Thank you, Mark. It's really an honor to be a part of this kind of rebooted user group community. What we're trying to do here is really kind of put together something that can continue to drive these products, move them forward in terms of being able to just collaborate and learn from each other, hold some webinars and just kind of share our experience. But the most important person that is on this team here is on the right, and that is you. That's the users that are out there, these members of this user community. Because what we're really looking for to put this next virtual conference together is membership, a member-driven experience. So what we're going to be asking, and you're going to be hearing a lot about this as this webcast goes forward here, we're really trying to reach out to the members of the community to join this and volunteer to be a speaker or a planner or just participate at some level to make this next virtual conference the best that we've ever had. So far we've had 10, they've all been great. We're coming up on number 11, and we fully anticipate that this can be one of the best ever. So it's very exciting to be a part of this. Okay, I'd like to just remind everyone that as we go forward through this webcast, that as you have questions, please type them into the webinar console. And at the end of this webcast, we'll answer all your questions. And there's my email address. If you would please, if you have anything that you'd like to reach out to me, that's how you contact me, roger@plex2e.com. Okay, let's talk a little bit about our mission, really for this webcast, but as also our mission for this upcoming conference. And that is we're asking everyone to please join us for a meeting of technical experts on the mid-range and distributed platforms. And this conference is squarely focused on meeting the needs of the technical experts that are charged with maintaining, automating, and modernizing enterprise software systems on the 2E, Plex, and IBM i. So we're going to do some general poll questions now, and what we're asking is, first of all, how much do you like our mission statement? And the mission statement, really, I think what's maybe different between it and maybe some conferences in the past is that this particular conference, we want it to be very much driven by the user community. We want the community to be heavily involved in deciding, what kind of sessions we're going to have, just guiding the look and feel of the conference, everything from, how long the conference is. Right now, it's scheduled to be a 2-day conference, but we can be flexible there. It could be 3 days if that's what the user community wants. And the other thing we're asking is how long should the labs be? We have a lot more flexibility in this virtual environment than we had in the past, so that we can make some decisions to kind of tune this to meet the needs of the user community. And lastly, we're intending to charge a nominal fee of $25 to just kind of cover the miscellaneous expenses it takes to put on a conference like this. And we kind of would like to know whether or not everyone is in agreement with that $25 fee that we have in mind. Okay, so this first poll question here is how much does the mission statement that I just mentioned resonate with you on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being doesn't resonate at all, 5 being that it resonates perfectly with you? All right, that's good to know. We've got most of you are coming in at about a 4. and got 5 and 3. The good news is that the number 1 and number 2 did not get much of a response. So sounds like we're kind of on the right track with our mission for this conference, and that, you know, making the conference really a community-driven conference. So good to see those poll results. Okay, so for the next poll question, what is the ideal length of time for this conference? So your options are a 1-day conference, 1.5, a 2-day, or other. Pretty heavy response there on the 2-day conference, which is what we had in mind. So I think that will kind of continue with that plan. It sounds like that's really what the community wants. Okay, so our next poll question is, how long should each hands-on lab be? And your options there are 2-hour labs, half-day labs, or a full-day lab for the really hardy people who like to spend the whole day in one lab on one topic. Okay, so split pretty evenly between 2-hour labs and a half-day lab, so that's good to know. And so as we go forward, we'll, you know, we mind that depending on you know, what the lab is, there may be some situations where you have a couple of 2-hour labs. In other cases, you might have a half-day lab, so we can kind of mix and match a little bit on the 2-hour lab versus the half-day lab. We have a full day to put all that in. And our next poll question is asking about the conference fee of $25. So your options here are, is that too much? Is it about right? Or is it too little?
Hey, Roger, I wanted to add that any
Yeah.
overage of the beyond the fees and sponsor that we get in is going to be given away to a charity to support our efforts. So this isn't a moneymaker. This is really about connecting the community.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, so pretty much consensus here is that the $25 fee is about right for everyone. So that's good to know. I think we'll proceed accordingly.
That's right, me. So yeah, I just quickly, in the past, if you've been to our conferences before, you understand that there's a blend of, we have large technology companies like CA Broadcom and IBM have sponsored us in the past. And then we have a number of partners, CA and IBM partners like ourselves in different geographies. And so we've had Latin America, Europe, and even Australia and New Zealand well represented in the past. And we'd be, you know, that's what I'm looking for. So I'll be following up with people. If you've got any ideas, just send it to info@plex2e.com, and I will follow up with them. We do expect the sponsors to be rolling up their shirt sleeves and participate in the technical discussions and events and demos and things like that as well too. It's not a passive thing. Since the community, we don't really expect customers to want to do that, but it's nice when customers send teams. That shows you a lot about their interest in the software models. More seconds, great, cool. So that didn't get all you know, all of the attendees answering that question, but that's great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And now back to Roger to talk a little bit more about the planning details of the 11th conference.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, so here's the general plan for the conference. It's a 2-day conference, as we mentioned, so it's going to run on Thursday and Friday. And on Thursday, what we're looking at is running 3 tracks. The first track will be a technology track, second one being for CA2E, and the third track would be for CA Plex. Friday is a day dedicated to labs. So because we're in this virtual environment, we have the opportunity to have as many labs as there's a demand for. So we were kind of thinking somewhere between 3 and 6 lab options would be available. And the length of the lab, you know, we have 3.5 hours there. there was kind of an equal consensus between a 2-hour lab and a half-day lab, which would be about the 3.5-hour lab. So there might be kind of a blend of some 2-hour labs as well as some half-day labs, but that's the general direction that we intend to go with this thing here. And then the other thing that I want to mention is on Thursday, during the lunch time, we would like to provide an opportunity for people to meet up and do some networking here. And we'd also like to provide some regional opportunities for the people in different parts of the world that may not even speak English fluently, to give those people an opportunity to get together and collaborate within their region. And the other thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing some games. We've done a trivia game in the past, which has always been very popular and a lot of fun. And the other thing we're looking at is doing a virtual happy hour. So between now and then, get yourself your favorite beverage and be ready to just have some good old happy hour fun with us during that lunch hour opportunity. So let's talk a little bit about each of the tracks. So track 1, as I mentioned, is the technology track, and this will focus on surround technologies to 2E and Plex. And what we're going to do now is we're going to be giving you a survey to indicate your interest in some different options, different topics for that technology track. And this is going to be divided into 2 different groups of polls. So we'll start with the first group of polls for the technology track. So here's some options here that we're kind of kicking around in terms of some topics, and they are, and here again, you can vote for as many that apply. So whatever you're interested in. We're looking at everything from automated load functional testing as an option session, DevOps, robotic business process automation, single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, as well as graph, big data, machine learning, artificial intelligence. So please choose as many of those. Good, so this is great because we got a lot of response really on all of those. So there's some good topics there that I think that we can put together some very meaningful sessions that I think everyone will get a lot of value out of. So I really like those poll results. So, and on going along with the technology track, here's 5 more options that we're considering for topics. And there again, vote for as many as you want. So the IBM i platform, DB2 deep dive, the Microsoft platform with SQL Server deep dive, cloud deployment of your applications, security, and workload automation. So please vote for as many of those as you have an interest in seeing. Here again, outstanding responses. All of those options received quite a bit of interest. So this is great because this gives us some direction in terms of what kinds of sessions you guys want to see and participate in. Okay, so now for track 2, this is for CA2E and beyond Broadcom. So if you're using Broadcom's CA2E sign-on products, this track will focus on the latest features of these products, tips and techniques, and how you can either expand the life of these products or put a strategy in place for the future. So now we're going to ask you some poll questions here as far as some possible topics for this conference that are geared towards the 2E product for track 2. So for 2E, you've got these 5 options here to choose from. Please select as many that you have an interest in. So we've got ILE service programs, web services, web option, SQL access, platform migration, and implementer, ALM. Please choose between those 5 as many as you have an interest in. Okay, really strong numbers on everything. Implementers got 12% there, but there's a lot of material there that will help us to make decisions on what kind of sessions we can put together that would be of interest to the community. Okay, so some continuation on the 2E topics here. So here's some more options that we're kicking around in terms of sessions. So pick as many as you're interested in, and the options here are a show and tell session, a session discussing, what is your 5-year plan for 2E. Another session would be outside the lines, so some creative things that you've done with 2E that aren't necessarily traditional development that everyone else has, stuff that is very creative. Another one would be documentation, as well as a tips and techniques session. So please vote for as many of those that you're interested in. Okay, and here again, we're getting some very strong numbers here on really all of those. Seems to be quite of interest in what those options could be, and I think that there's a lot here that we can work with in terms of putting together some sessions that would be meaningful and of interest to the community. So great poll results. I'm very happy with this. Okay, so talking about track 3, which is CA Plex and beyond Broadcom. If you're using Broadcom's Plex products, this track will focus on the latest features of these products, tips and techniques, and how you can either extend the life of these products or put a strategy in place for the future. So now we're going to do some poll questions that are specific to Plex. Okay, so the Plex topics that we're kicking around are a session on tips and techniques, performance topics, documentation, platform migration, possibly between migrating from C++ to .NET C#, or web options, web generation. So please select as many of those that you have an interest in. Outstanding. Okay, so really all of those received a very strong response here. And so this will really help us to make sure that the sessions that we're putting together are sessions that are relevant to the Plex community. So I think really all of those received a very strong response of interest. So thank you everyone for voting for these. And some more Plex topics that we're exploring are a show and tell session. This would be a session where we would ask for various customers to show some of their world-class Plex applications that they've developed. And this is a great opportunity for all of us to kind of look at what other people are doing and get some ideas on some creative ways that people have found in order to make their Plex applications the best that they can possibly be. And another session would be a 5-year plan. So this would be an opportunity for people to really kind of get together and talk about, what are we doing with these tools? What is our intention over the next 5 years for how we use Plex in our organization? And another session would be outside the lines, and that's an opportunity for some people in the community to show some things that they have done with Plex that are very cutting edge, custom look and feel, things they've done in Plex that are not traditional, not what you get from the out of the box experience. So that could be a lot of fun. And another one session would be a deep dive, and this is to take some various aspects of Plex that are not very well known and just get into the meat of those topics and really learn some things that we've never seen before. There's a lot of things in Plex that a lot of people know about, but they only know a little bit about because they've never had an opportunity to really get into the meat of it and learn what is some of the capabilities of Plex. So that one could be a lot of fun. And the other one I think that could be very interesting is to have a discussion about a standards layer. So most of us who are doing Plex development, we've developed a standards layer, and that's where we do a lot of things that give us kind of a common look and feel. But there's also a lot of things that people have done in their standards layer that are very creative and really kind of add some value to their Plex applications. And I think that anything you do in your standards layer, you get immediate value out of because it's basically rippled throughout your applications. And I think that if everyone could see some of the really unique things that we've all done within our standards layer, I think it would give people some ideas on how they could add some new feature and functionality to their standards layer to get some immediate value. So that one could be a lot of fun. Okay, and here again, really strong responses to all of these topics. So this has just been tremendous, because this is what really helps us to plan this conference and know what kind of sessions you guys are interested in. So the last thing we want to do is have a conference where we have a session that really isn't relevant to the needs of the community. So this conference is going to be 100% community driven, and having you guys involved in these topics and deciding, what kind of information is going to be in this conference, I think is tremendously valuable. And as you guys have additional things that you're thinking about, please contact me, give me the information. If you got a topic that you think would be great, add it as a poll question. Let's get it into discussion. Let's get it into the queue, and let's get people talking about it and find out, what the level of interest is in this stuff. So we want this conference to be your conference. You guys own this conference. That's the whole point. That's part of our mission. This is a conference that you guys are driving. We're just providing you with a platform to get it organized. That's what this is all about. Okay, so on the second day of the conference, it is 100% geared to labs. So in this virtual environment that this conference is going to be, we have a lot more flexibility than we've ever had in the prior 10 conferences in terms of how many labs that we can have. So we can have as many as you guys have an interest in. So it's just a matter of finding out, what kind of labs you're interested in and how long the labs need to be. We have tremendous flexibility here in terms of what day 2 looks like in terms of these labs. So we're going to ask you some poll questions here, and if you would express your level of interest in the following lab options. So for the technology lab, some options are DevOps, multi-factor authentication, single sign-on, robotic process automation, business process automation, and data security. Please vote for as many of those as you have an interest in attending a lab on. Okay, so here again, a very strong level of interest in all of those technology lab topics. So that's going to help us quite a bit as we put this conference together and figure out what kind of labs we need to offer. Thank you for voting on these. It's been tremendous in terms of getting that input from you on where we go with this conference and what it looks and feels like. So in terms of some TUI specific labs, so here's 4 options for you to select from. Please choose as many as you have an interest in if you're a TUI user. So some options here would be SQL access, web services, web generation, ILE service programs, or other. Great. So we've got here again very strong response here on the other. I think that if you're one of the 19% of the people who selected other, please add a question into the console, and let's have that discussion at the end of this webcast. So we seem to be missing a slide here, which is where you actually vote. So I'm just going to discuss it. I don't know if we're going to have an opportunity to vote on it here. I'm not sure what happened here with this voting piece here, but let's just talk about it, okay? So some of the topics that we're looking at here for labs that are specific to Plex would be web services, web app generation, moving from C++ to .NET C#, moving off the IBM to Windows, Linux, as well as documentation. So I'm not sure, you probably aren't going to have an opportunity to vote. Something happened, but let's definitely, when we get to the end of this, let's have a discussion on these options.
Roger, they can always send you a private note through your email address at the conference site if somebody's particularly passionate or not, doesn't want to see a lab like this as well too.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Okay, so here's the most important slide of this webcast, and that is a call for speakers. So all of our conferences are always, they're presented by volunteer speakers. And what we're looking for here is the customers, the users of these tools to be the ones who are doing most of the speaking. And so the customers always get priority in terms of the sessions availability that they're speaking at here. We have a couple of different options for speakers. You can either do a 10-minute presentation where in that particular session, we'd probably have about 3, maybe 4 speakers that are doing 10-minute sessions on, stuff that they're doing in their organization. Or for those of you who are really gung-ho, you can do a 45-minute presentation. So we'll take either one. If you could give us a 10-minute presentation or a 45-minute presentation, we would love to have you sign up for that. I also want to mention that all speakers will get a very nice gift. It might be a turtle like you're seeing right there. We don't know what it is, but it will be very nice. It probably won't be the turtle. Okay, we're asking that you also sign up to join a panel or be involved in a roundtable discussion. So if you have any level of interest here, please reach out to me. You can contact me either at info@plex2e.com or at roger@plex2e.com. So if you are interested in being a speaker, I am begging you to please reach out to me and just let me know that you're interested, and I will take it from there. At this conference, we also would like to make sure that we are providing some networking opportunities for the community. So some things that we want to specifically focus on is that we have a lot of users around the world, Europe, Spanish, Japan, that we want to provide them with some unique networking opportunities for them to kind of get together and collaborate within their region, probably speaking languages that I don't even speak. So we're also asking that if we could get someone to serve as a host or moderator for the various regions. So there's just an example of regions, but it could be, anything. So if there's a region that you're in and you would like to have some networking opportunity, please reach out to me and let's put together some regions and make sure that we have someone who is a moderator for that region who can speak the language and have a meaningful networking opportunity. And the other thing we're going to do is we're going to be playing some games. We're going to be doing some trivia, possibly a game of hangman. It's just going to be a lot of fun. You can tell by the picture there, those people are just having a blast. So that's basically us right there. Okay. I'd like to encourage everyone to please monitor our website, which is plex2e.com, on a regular basis. So we're just in the process of starting to add content to this site where you can go out. There is up in the top right, there's a register link, and from there you can register for the conference. It's kind of in a state of flux right now. This is all being kind of put together. So I would say to not necessarily go out there right now and get registered, but probably by sometime next week, everything will be in place where you can go out and get registered for the conference, and we'll provide a way to reach out and volunteer as a speaker or a panelist or whatever. We'll take you in any capacity that we can get you, but please use this website as well as Facebook. So there's a Plex2E group in Facebook, and if you're not already a member of that group, I would encourage you to please join that group. And we're going to be using Facebook as a way to collaborate and communicate information to the community and get information from you to put all this together. So the combination of plex2e.com as well as Facebook, please check them regularly. Now I know what you're asking. You're saying, Roger, this is all wonderful. How can I help? And here's what we need from you to do. We need you to sign up for the conference and let us know what your interest is in helping us out. At the end of this webcast, we're going to be sending out a survey, and we would dearly appreciate if everyone would respond to that survey and get us this information, because that's really what's going to give us the information that we need to put all this together and really provide a conference that is the best that it can possibly be. We really feel like there's some tremendous opportunity here with this virtual conference to really do some things that maybe have never been done before. And I really think it'll be the best $25 you've ever spent in your life. So once again, I want you to check the plex2e.com and Facebook for updates. And we're also going to be sending out newsletters. So make sure that you're on the mailing list here for our newsletters. And Mark or John will talk about that a little bit later in this webcast. And I also want to mention that we are planning to have another webinar to discuss this upcoming conference. And that webinar will most likely be either at the end of August or in early September. So we will be sending out an announcement of the next webinar. And I would appreciate if everyone would please join the webinar and give us a chance. I think that as this thing goes forward, you're going to see that there's going to be some great opportunities here to kind of rejuvenate your interest in these tools and to really just kind of work together and collaborate to get the most value possible from these tools by sharing our experience. So at this time, what we'd like to do is we'd like to open this thing up for a discussion, and I'm hoping that you've had an opportunity to submit any of your comments or questions into the console here. There's my email address again, and I want to encourage everyone to please reach out to me at roger@plex2e.com with anything that you have on your mind that you'd like to talk about, and I promise you I will get right back to you, and we'll make sure that any questions that you have that we're able to provide you with the answers and give you that direction that you're looking for here. And I also want to just remind you that at the end of this webcast, there's going to be a survey sent out, and we are begging you to please fill out that survey and submit it. So at this point, we're going to open it up for questions.
So Roger, I do have several questions here for you.
Okay.
Okay, it's first not really a question, but someone's commenting that they have no sound. And I'll just answer, we are going to send out a recording of this webinar afterwards. It'll be a day or two, but so you can listen to it, listen to the recording and get all the information that way.
Okay. Good to know. Yes, and for anyone who is on the webcast, even if you had sound, but there's some things that you may not have picked up on, please feel free to download the recording and watch it again.
Mm-hmm. Roger, I'd also like to add, this is Mark, that I've just added 4 new members to the Facebook page.
Awesome.
So, thank you.
Okay, next question is, how do you upgrade to CA2E 8.7.1?
So that release was just announced earlier this month, and I just found out about it today. And so I think, John, maybe you can kind of field, what's involved in that upgrade, and that might be something that we have a session on at the conference is best practices for doing an upgrade to 8.7.1.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That would be a tremendous session. I mean, it just came out. I personally haven't seen it other than just the announcement on the Broadcom site. And I think, at that point, some people have tried it. Maybe they've already tried it, and we could really get some good feedback on people's experiences and share that amongst the community. So I think we'll definitely have some sessions on that.
Great.
Okay. Here's a comment. I would like to see 2E RPG versus 2E RPG ILE generation. And I think we had some good interest in that on labs and then in that topic. So I think that's a great observation. I think we would really be able to show that and discuss that very topic as part of this conference.
Yeah. Sounds good.
And the next question, what conference software will you be using?
Okay, so we're kicking around some different options. Zoom being probably the most widely used software to use for something like that, but we have some flexibility here. We're looking into our options to see which one would be the best to meet our needs for this conference, but very well could be Zoom.
Okay. Sort of related question, will we be using video during the conference?
Yes, so in this conference, you will be able to see all of the attendees. They will be able to see you, assuming that you choose to activate your video. And so it will be just like we're all in a room together and laughing. We'll probably tell some jokes. You'll see everyone smiling. It's going to be very interactive. I think it's going to be something that everyone's going to really enjoy.
Okay, next question. Will IBM be speaking at the conference?
Okay, so we are reaching out to IBM like we do every conference, and we are hopeful that they will send a representative to speak at the conference. So that is our plan.
Okay, we got a last question here. What would the requirements be for the hands-on labs?
Okay, so depending on what the specifics of the lab are, there may be some minimal requirements, but for the most part, just having an internet connection and being able to join the conference is really all you should need in order to participate in most of the labs. But like I say, it will depend on the specifics of the lab and what the topics are in terms of anything that you might need to install on your personal computer. But we will make sure that whatever that is, that you have plenty of opportunity to have it downloaded and installed. So by the time the conference comes and when the lab starts, you should be all set and ready to go. We'll make sure that we keep it as minimal as possible in terms of what the requirements are for your PC.
And I was wrong, Roger. There are actually several more questions have come in just in the last couple minutes.
Great.
Will the times be Pacific time, 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock p.m.?
So, John, maybe I'm going to kind of ask you to field that one in terms of the exact time on that, since you're more involved in the timing of this type of thing. Can you field that question?
Well, that's a great question. We've discussed among several people have kind of had their opinions on that, and I think that actually probably is when it would be. I don't know if we go as late as 5 o'clock Pacific, but we were thinking to start at 8 o'clock Pacific, which would be 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock East Coast, and that's the evening in Europe. So maybe we'll have some European sessions before the 8 o'clock Pacific. But I think that's in flux now. We're getting a lot of opinions, and I think we're trying to get all these opinions and come up with something to work for everybody.
Yeah, we definitely want to make sure that whatever we're doing, we're meeting the needs of the community as much as we possibly can.
So here's another question, different person, but it's very related. In this virtual session, we had the opportunity to cater to different regions and time zones. Would people be interested in multiple presentations to certain regions to better fit their time zone?
I think I would be certainly open to some regional sessions that may be in a time zone that is different from the rest of the conference. I think that's something that we can certainly discuss, and I'm certainly open to it.
I would add too that we've had conference discussions and even presentations in Spanish, and we've got interest in people doing things in German also too. So that's worked well in the past, and that could do for local language times as well too. Could work for this conference as well.
Okay. Question about Broadcom's participation in the conference. Will they be discussing the future of the products?
Okay, so kind of a similar situation with IBM in that we are definitely going to be reaching out to them and asking, for them to participate in this conference. And we would certainly be hopeful that they would send someone to represent, Broadcom and to speak at some level at this conference. So we're going to reach out to them, and we're going to hope that we can get a good response from them to join us and have some fun with us. And the main thing is really to see our passion. I think it's always really important whenever we have these conferences, whether it be CA or whoever, that when they come, they can see the passion from the users of these tools. They get a lot out of that. That really kind of shows them that we have these tools, we love these tools, and the way we collaborate to get the most out of these tools. I think it's very important that we can get, especially Broadcom, to come and join us. So we're going to reach out to them, and we're going to hope for the best. So that's about all I guess I can say at this point. I can't make any promises as to, what their response is going to be, but we're definitely going to reach out and strongly encourage them to come join us.
So here's another question, kind of a technical question. Do you know why CA removed the license check starting in 8.7.1? I guess that'd be for 2E. I personally was not aware of that, but I'm certainly interested in looking into that, and we'll find out, and we'll share that with the community, that question, that answer, if we can. So I guess we'll find out there.
Yeah.
And last, I guess this is not a question, but nice comment. No questions. Just looking forward to the conference. So cool.
Great. Good to hear. Well, like I say, everyone, I really am excited about this conference. I'm excited about the role of this user community and kind of getting it restarted and get some energy into it. And this community is not only going to drive this conference, but it's going to drive everything that we do as we go forward in terms of getting everyone together, working together, rowing in the same direction, learning from each other to get the most value possible out of these tools that we own and that we've really invested our careers in. So this is exciting. I'm excited to be a part of it. It's an honor for me to be the president of this worldwide user community. And I think if you'll give us a chance, I think you're going to find that this is really going to be something special to be a part of. So please continue to join us at these upcoming webcasts for sure. Join us for this virtual conference. If you haven't signed up for the Facebook group, please sign up for that. If you have any friends that maybe did not attend this webcast, please encourage them to join the next one, and let's just see how big we can make this thing. I think that there's tremendous possibility to really kind of reunite everyone and to get everyone working together and really building something special here. So once again, thank you for joining us today. I think this webcast was tremendous. I certainly got a lot of information from it that's going to help me and my team to work to put together a really meaningful conference. I think that it's going to be, it should be the best we've ever had because it's a virtual conference. We just have some opportunities that we've really never had before. Like I say, this will be the best $25 you've ever spent in your entire life. And the conferences have always been good, but this one really takes it to a whole new level. So please check the plex2e.com website and get signed up, and let's make this thing happen.